Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's get ready to rumble!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My name is Captain Frank Hawks, and who thought that we would never see this again? I did, as it happens. For over a year, I have not had access to Star Citizen, but now we are back. And since we are back, we are going to begin a new series. This entire series will be subject to what is broken about ships and around ships and how it could potentially be fixed. Understanding that in no way do I believe the game is currently broken, but as far as development is concerned, some things just are going to have to grow up. And although many of you may disagree with my talking points and the direction that I will take with this, nevertheless, it must be talked about. Why are we covering the Drake Interplanetary Caterpillar? Because it is my ship. It is a garbage heap that was assembled by drunken, poorly trained monkeys, yet nevertheless, it's my garbage pile. I can talk badly about it. You may not. It's gorgeous, sleek, capable of carrying more cargo than most ships currently in game. That is until the Starfarer gets its liquid cargo capacity up to speed. You see, there were mistakes made in the design of the ship. Some of these mistakes were intentional. Some of these mistakes were just simply mistakes. You see, they were trying to make spaceships, while failing to recognize these spaceships would end up also being homes. Understand me very clearly that a ship of this nature isn't just going to haul cargo around a solar system. It's also going to haul cargo from system to system. How cargo hauling works in reality is there is a demand. The demand could be anything. What is generally called standard shipping or standard supply is the format of shipping of understanding via research and advertisement what there might be as far as demand is concerned, and then supplying that demand whether anybody asked for it or not. Then there is direct demand. Direct demand means a group of people or an individual ordered something, whatever that something may be. Toys, medicine, food, alcohol, dildos, doesn't matter. So long as that shipment gets to the person or persons who ordered said box of dildos. That's direct demand. Inferred demand is what comes generally out of research and development and a fundamental understanding of what people might need. How this ends up working is a company produces the product that is required to supply the demand. And then there is another company, say for instance FedEx, UPS, or companies like that, who are responsible for taking that cargo where it needs to go. More often than not, there are people who want to own ships of this nature and yet nevertheless cannot afford them. So instead, they finance. That financing atypically goes through corporations like FedEx and UPS, especially where ship sailing is concerned. There are a handful of personal owners of crafts of this nature, and those personal owners are what we would call a freelance trader or a freelance cargo hauler. These freelance cargo haulers are temporarily contracted to haul a specific amount of cargo, generally the quantity that their hold can carry, from point A to point B. Thus the contract ends and the individuals get paid. Though rarely is that contract fulfilled to the value of the cargo that they may have in their hold. Understanding that the cargo they may have in their hold might be worth trillions of dollars, but nevertheless, they only get paid a percentage of that. Going off the truck driver basis that I've come to learn from coworkers up till now is that if you are a contracted freelance driver, what may happen is it may be an amount of cents per the amount of cargo per the mileage. What that may be in a game that will end up being as large as Star Citizen is aiming for is it could be as much as a few credits times the number of SCU times the number of systems you pass through. So you have 500 SCU times, let's say, 1 SCU of credits. That's 500 credits, and you have to travel through 10 systems. That's 500,000 credits. But there is overhead, and overhead typically consists of repairs, refueling, restocking, relaxation, and recreation. So understand, as far as I'm concerned, there are 5 points for any ship of this size that have to be covered. The first and most important for a ship of this nature is cargo. One of the major things I don't understand about how this cargo ship was assembled is why in the hold there are walls and doors. With all of the superstructure that's on here, why oh why is this segmented like this? The general intention behind this is that eventually you will be able to customize what you're carrying. That you'll be able to have either cargo or med bays or some sort of battle system. However, what people wanted out of the ship was a large open cargo hold so that they could have what is quoted as being a pocket carrier. For right now, 4 Merlins can be stowed away in that ship, and not with the doors closed. But if we got rid of those 3 middle walls and doors, and modified how doors work on this ship, and got rid of some of the doors, what you would end up with is a large spacious cargo hold for which you could leave wide open and have more than 4 Merlins stowed upon. Also, I'm a firm believer that those 4 doors that you see in front of you should be one continuous door, and that they should all be one big foot elevator. The ladders are fine as they are, but the catwalk cannot go away. Because as far as I'm concerned, that should be the point of entry for this ship. Now, understanding how cargo works in reality, generally, if this was a Kovalex ship, and you were hired to be its pilot and crew, then what would end up happening is you would be paid an hourly sum, while most people would be making significantly more than you as a freelancer. But being a freelancer, all of the insurance, all of the damages, all of the problems, all of the components, everything is on you and comes straight out of your pocket. At the end of the day, you might make hundreds of thousands, if not millions of credits, but the credits spend. You have to pay your crew, you have to pay for the damages, you have to pay for new components, you have to pay for maintenance, you have to pay for fuel, you have to pay for everything. Here we are in what I refer to as the nose cone of the Caterpillar. It is my firm belief that this should not be a cargo hold. Now I know, some of you will argue, well, that'll reduce the SCU. If we remove those 3 walls and doors, what ends up happening is we generate more space for SCU, especially if we get rid of the walkway. That should just be a cargo hold, and there should be no other purpose for that space, in my opinion. Others may vary. Understand me, in this space we have a unique architecture. We have 2 cul-de-sacs right next to the door, which on one side I believe should be basically a workbench, and that balcony area should have a ladder attached to it because this should be the point of entry for the ship. You have 9 doors. Why add a 10th? Well, simple. You had drunken, poorly trained monkeys build the ship. I love those monkeys. Now understand me, I firmly believe this ship should come with a vehicle that is specific to the purpose of cargo maneuvering. Inside of one of these strips, no wider nor bigger than, there should be a vehicle, a single-seater, by which it can carry on a truck bed a single SCU of cargo and maneuver certain numbers of SCU of cargo, more than likely 1, via tractor beam on the front. It should be fairly open, it should be made by Drake Interplanetary, and it should look like a distant cousin to the Dragonfly. And it literally should sit in that square in front of me. As we move up to the balcony area, this is the point of entry. Literally speaking, if we were in a rush, we could have people assume turrets as they enter into the vehicle. Understanding that this is a point of entry, not just a landing. This is the first turret. Now understand me, Drake has a promise. Less armor, more maneuverability, more teeth, and less cargo capacity, and a unique style that appeals to quite a few people. This ship only has 2 turrets. 2 turrets that are, for one, poorly placed, for second, very low on power, and for a third, generally non-effective in the defensibility of this ship. It is my personal belief, that right here, along the middle ridge of this ship, that there should be no less than 4 turrets, each of which carrying 4 guns of this particular size. This would give this ship the teeth that it deserves. And yes, it would mean taking guns away from the bridge, meaning that this would have to be a multi-crew ship in order to defend itself. As we continue along the catwalk, there literally should be emplacements where we can cross over and get into these turrets. They should be small, relatively inconvenient to get into, because, well, this is where the cargo goes. Here we are, close to the bridge, about to enter into the personnel area of the ship. Understand me clearly, that door down there should not be there, because that goes into the galley, rec, and dining area of the ship. So long as that door is there, personnel are in jeopardy and cannot be comfortable enough to remove their suits in order to be able to eat and survive with the new survival mechanics that are in the game. As we approach this door, it should not open by itself. It should be a pressurized hatch. We would literally have to cycle the airlock in order to enter. Because we are using this door, neither the hatch nor that door should be able to work. And as we enter to the interior of the ship, neither the hatch nor the outer door should be able to work, literally cycling it like an airlock. For using the hatch, neither the door to the interior nor to the door to the cargo bay should be able to work, just like a 3-point airlock. Right here, there should be weapon racks, there should be a place for you to put your EVA suits, and you should be able to get comfortable for the interior use of the ship. And from this point on, there should be no other point of either entry nor exit into this vehicle. Right here, we're currently standing over the starboard side wing, overviewing this flying brick. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about engine layout, and since things are even, you don't really have to worry about flight stability. What if you lose power? You have to understand that a flying brick like this, in order to work properly in atmosphere, must have a second wing. That second wing must be attached to the bridge, meaning that the bridge can no longer be an escape pod, because Drake Interplanetary doesn't do escape pods. And as much as that might piss off the bulk majority of the pirates, that's not a fighter, it's an escape pod. It comes off when your ship blows up. I am now currently standing on the bridge. This bridge isn't a bridge, it's a cockpit. That window should be wider, and the seats should be in tandem formation. You shouldn't have to worry about whether or not the ship is going to spontaneously eject you if you stand up. So the windows not only need to be taller and wider, but they need to be more secure. Furthermore, those windows need to have less struts. That entire middle section shouldn't have struts on it, so that it calls back and harkens back to the Cutlass Black. These two seats literally have no place, so they shouldn't be here. Instead, this should be the server section of this ship, and there should be no lower deck, which contains 2 more bunks, a galley, and another console, let alone the weird bathroom. Here we stand before what I would refer to as the greatest Meshiva of the ship, stairs. I want you to pause the video, go look at Google, and ask Google about the number of injuries caused by stairs on small cargo vessels. And Drake, stairs are a frill. They waste space, and they occupy space in which other things could be placed. What should be put here is a ladder to the lower decks, if not a foot elevator of its own. However, an elevator is a frill. As we move into the engine room, I want you to take a long look. Where are the components? Where are the pieces of technology that allow us to fly through space? This engine room was designed before that, and in all honesty, instead of these 2 engines, what we need is a single engine room that runs up the middle and allows us to have component storage on either side, allowing us to be able to more easily maintenance the ship from the engineering section of the ship. Furthermore, since we're going to have 4 turrets along the top, this turret must go. The 10th door, ladies and gentlemen. The sheer and complete stupidity. The technology that makes this work, in all honesty, should make those other foot elevators along the front and sides of the ship work correctly. This has no business being here, and in all honesty should be made slightly more compact for a single bunk medbay. Getting rid of the turret and making the space behind us more compact for a medbay gives us more room in what I would call the wreck area of the ship, or the mess. You get rid of those bunks, you actually make a proper galley, as opposed to whatever this is. There's not even a coffee maker. You should be ashamed of yourself. Bathrooms should be reserved specifically for personal quarters, because I don't want to be eating while you're taking a shit. We are about to enter into the section of the ship that must be rearranged in order to facilitate personal quarters. Exactly 6 to 8 of them. The reason why is because this is not a small ship, and the more hands that you have on hand is the more ability that you have to rearrange cargo. Now let's see here. You have the captain, you have the pilot, you have the co-pilot, you have the engineer, and you have 4 gunners. That's 8 people. Servers should be moved to the bridge where they belong, and this entire section should be removed. This is a component which belongs in the engineering section and not on this deck. If you look at the blueprints in the brochure for this ship, you will notice that there is nothing behind this wall. This ladder and this wall have to go. And then you will have room for personal quarters, in which you contain nothing more than a bunk and your own personal bathroom shower combo. Understand me, the changes that I have talked about aboard this ship are relatively minor to its construction. This ship deserves the love and care of a full ship redesign, facilitating the necessity for a full cargo hauling redesign. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, have fun, be safe, take care of each other. This is Captain Frank Hawks, and I am signing off.